Hello again, it's Damien back just for another chat. Another thing, another query around working in private practice or any kind of practice as a therapist is like, what if a client doesn't pay? So, this is actually a kind of a very common question that comes up. It's not really a hugely common occurrence, but it is a concern people have. And it has happened, it probably has happened to me, I think twice maybe, the absolute most. And I think the first time it happens, it's really important to notice it. So if someone, nobody intends, first of all, to come to therapy and not pay. They've made their appointment, they're turning up, they're doing they're doing their session. So there's a number of things you can do as a therapist to protect yourself against this. So one of the things I would do is I have a contract, which I will go into in another video, but contract will protect you in a lot of ways, and it will protect the client in a lot of ways also. So what I have in my contract is that I look for payment 40 hours. Payment is expected 48 hours before the session. Now, when I start up with new clients, they're really quite good. They'd either talk about it. It brings the discussion about money up straight away. There's no, oh, how do I bring this up? It's automatically on the table. They're coming for service. They realise they have to pay for service, and they know how to pay for the service. A lot of it might be they don't know how to pay. Like I've gone to therapists before where they might not ask me at the end of the session for the money. And if you're doing therapy really well, it's probably not something you automatically think of as a client to get up and go, oh yeah, I have to pay you, because we'd expect it to be really good, really comfortable, really supportive, really very close to what you'd imagine a very nice chat and conversation and friendship with a very close friend. And going well, that's really what all you really want. So if you've gone to your friend's house for tea and had a lovely chat, you don't necessarily go up and say, oh yeah, I have to give you money. So I think the responsibility there falls to the therapist. And as therapists, being a very helping profession, and we all get in for our own reasons, but invariably what happens is the therapist is reluctant to ask for the money at the end of the session. So little pitfalls you can avoid here is, one, have a contract. If the person has a walk-in, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. But what I would say at the end of the session, I'd say, how are you feeling now? Is that okay for you? Have you anything you want to bring up? And then I'd say, and how would you like to pay? Would you like to pay by card or cash? Now that's because I have the option. I have the card machine, which if someone says I've no cash, that's fine. I have the card. There's no option. Because we can. Life is so hectic and so busy. We can walk out of the house without our money, without this. So I think it's really important to be a bit flexible. Now, if the client then comes the next session and doesn't pay, this is something that needs to be brought into the room. You know, I have a thing in my contract again that says if they haven't paid by the next session is not booked. They don't automatically get the next session. If they're saying I'm doing Tuesday every week at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they don't pay for that session, and there's no contact between this session and the next session, and if I've asked for the money, or I've sent links or whatever, and they haven't paid, absolutely fine. I take that as that person no longer wants therapy, and they've decided to move on and go a different direction. You know, it could be a way of them ending. It could be because, you know, people can be quite uncertain. They might not really want to be with you, and they might not know how to say, I don't want to be with you, I don't want to continue in therapy. Or it could be financial. There could be very obvious financial reasons, because that's becoming more to the fore now. People are really struggling financially. So it could be quite a big thing to be able to bring into the therapy. I think it's very important to talk about money in therapy, insofar as that if someone shows absolutely, you know, I'm really struggling to get this money together, I really want therapy, I would look at different options. Have you the capacity to offer them a reduced rate? If they're okay to discuss this. If they're not okay to discuss this, that's even better, because that's grist for the mill. There's information here, there's stuff we can work with. Or would you prefer to work fortnightly? So if they're paying 60, 78, whatever they're paying, if they consider that they still need therapy, but they'll only come every fortnight, then they're paying half, essentially. You know, they're paying full whack in the week, but they're not paying it every week. And that way, then, that might be a way of renegotiating the contract and how we work together. But it's really important to you know, you can argue. I see a lot of posts up from different therapists arguing that, you know, you wouldn't go to a doctor and forget to pay. You wouldn't go to a supermarket with full trolley and forget to pay. This is not that. This is a completely different profession. We are very we're very, very close to our clients. It needs to be a very supportive, very helpful thing. We're not giving away for nothing. It's not free. There are different organizations, charitable organizations funded outside that are able to do that. But most therapists aren't able, obviously, to give completely free therapy. We do have always certain a number of low cost or free slots, but invariably we can't give loads of free. So the discussion about money has to take place. So what I'd say to you is start it before the client even walks into your room. Start the discussion before it. So if you don't have a contract, if they're contacting you by email, I would give that information in my email reply. This is the time available, this is the stuff, and that's the price. That's how much it is. And if you prefer, I look for a payment up 40 hours, 24 hours, whatever. Some people look for the week in advance, so they want you to pay a week in advance. I give the option. I give the option of all of them. I say one thing I'd need is at the very minimum 40 hours payment, unless you're paying by cash or we have a pre-existing agreement. So they come into the room and they pay by card. That's pre-existing. Some people prefer to pay through Revolut for me, and then there's other people that would actually pay a week in advance for the next week. That's completely up to them, but it eliminates the discomfort in the room. And this is not to interfere with therapy. This is normally when therapy has ended and they're ready to leave, then the discussion in the room. Or some people can do it at the start of the session. It's up to yourself. It's completely your choice. I prefer to do it at the end. If I'm in the room with someone they haven't paid, I will then say, have you decided, would you like to pay cash or card? And they might say, I'll do cash, or, oh, completely forgot about you. But I've had situations in the past where, as I said, someone would walk into the room, would have a great session. I forgot, they forgot, and they'll walk out. And I'm like, oh, what do you do? Do you chase them up? Do you ring them? Do you send them a thing? So I would just send them a gentle little text message, or depending on what way you communicate, if it's text message or email, I would send them a little gentle little reminder, just to remind them that they didn't pay, if they can make payment, or you can pay me at your next session. But that means the next session is double pay, which can be really hard on people. But it's really, again, as I said, in my opinion, it's the therapist's responsibility to look after the therapist's payment, and that way you don't gonna let people walk out the room. But as I say, once bitten, twice shy. You will learn once it happens. Anyway, I hope that's been helpful. If you have any question around this, please send me a message. You can text me, send an email, or comment in the space below. Anyway, thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.